I've got boxes
Ladies.
down near my feet, so
You just screwed up the intro more.
He's a mess.
sorry. I thought I was going to prepare. I'm nervous talking to you.
You screwed up a second time.
Keep screwing it up.
All right, now I'm comfortable.
All these false starts.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday night, 9 p.m. In fact, it's February 4th, 2021, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. It's Crawlspace Live. What's going on? I'm Tim. Here tonight with Lance, as always. Lance, how goes it?
Bringing the energy. Oh, my goodness. From the town square of my quaint little hamlet, I've heard the bells toll. They've tolled 9 chimes. They're welcoming our special guest, Michael Morford.
Morph.
What's
How
up,
you
guys?
doing?
What's up? With that intro, we expect you to come in with an aluminum chair and smash us on the back.
I'd like to do that in person. Whenever your Crawlspace studios open up again and COVID's over, we can get together.
My goodness, we could do like a WWE, like full out wrestling. That'd be amazing.
Or you
Ladder
guys can come
match.
down here. Come down here
Yeah.
for a weekend and soak up some sun.
I will say, if we're doing the backyard wrestling thing, we should probably do it in Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
No ice.
So, Morph.
If you're not a real man.
Morph.
I'd rather be a warm man than a real man.
That's a smart man.
Well, welcome everyone in the chat room and everyone out there watching. If you're on Twitter, if you're on the Facebook, you on the YouTube, why don't you click that little link that goes along with what you're watching and toggle your butt up on over to Get Vocal.
Michelle says toggle time. That is a marketing. We are copywriting that. It's toggle time, everybody. If you don't toggle, hit the bricks.
What's toggle? I don't even know what that means.
Toggle your butt on over. There's a whole chat room full of people. We're going to be having the same conversation. The idea is we want people to interact here on Get Vocal because it's just too much moving parts, checking Facebook and YouTube and Twitter all at the same time, you know.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then you have people who want to contribute, especially with someone like you, someone of such high esteem in this community, Mike Morford. People want to ask you questions, and how can you ask him questions in real time if you're on Facebook? And it's so easy. You've got your tablet open, you have your desktop on, you have your iPhone on. You might as well just get on over here.
Get your
I think
butt
you
on
guys
over.
just ran out of guests finally and wanted to have me on to fill a void.
Untrue. It's been a long time coming.
The funny thing is when my kids see me on here talking to someone, they're like, "Let me guess, you're talking to Tim and Lance." And I was like, "No, I have other friends that I talk to."
Well, hello to the chat room out there. The chat room is filling up. We've got Rachel from Uncovered in there. We've got Tracy. We've got Aurelia, Jade, Elise, the Crime Shark, Jillian, Braun, the whole gang. Get your butt on over here. We're going to talk some crime tonight and really probably, honestly, just want to talk some random stuff with Morph.
Good. I'm down for the rando stuff.
Morph sent us a text today, and he said, "What's on? What are we talking about tonight?" And we replied with your butt. We're talking about your butt, and then we're just like, "Well, there's a lot of butts, so we're going to talk about everybody's butt."
Yeah, and then you guys are making some funny meme style things to promote the show.
Maybe. I want to say I haven't seen. I just want to put this out there before we get too in depth. I have not seen our friend Brock roast anytime in the past couple of weeks. Hope Brock is doing well. I know that he, has some stretches where he's here every single week and then he takes a little break and comes back. Just want to check in if anybody has any info on him. Just a little Get Vocal wellness check. If anyone can tell me what this rock is, that's the other issue I've been having.
Not this rock. Morph, what do you think this is? I'm going to go on mute.
I think that is. I can't remember the name of, but I found a big chunk of that in New Jersey, and I forget what it was called, but someone told me what it was, and I looked it up, and it was that, nothing valuable. Are you hoping it's like some kind of invaluable mineral. It's
Yes.
not.
I'm hoping this is going to make my retirement come true early.
It's not, because the one I found was literally like this big. I was excited by it. It turned out to be worthless.
Well,
thanks for killing my dreams.
Yeah, now you went from meteor hunting to alligator hunting down in Florida. So tell us about your adventures down in alligator land.
Oh, it's I've fallen in love with Florida. I'm a Florida man, I guess you can say. I'll accept that. It's just beautiful down here. The people are nice. It's very, there's no pressure. It's just walking around. I never thought I'd wear flip-flops. I'm not a flip-flop type of guy. I got here, I'm wearing flip-flops like every day. It's just so laid back and easygoing. And I didn't have my first bit of road rage till today, actually. But there's idiot drivers everywhere, and I encountered one today. But besides that, it's just been pretty cool, pretty easygoing. And the alligators are weird. It's weird to see an alligator here and there. But thankfully I haven't had any close encounters with them.
All right. Well, you're obviously going to have to unpack this road rage story.
It was really a guy driving in the fast lane and going slow and hitting his brakes. So I went to go over in the slow lane to go around, and he goes over in the slow lane. I'm like, are you serious? I go back in the other lane. He goes back in the other lane. Now I know he's just fucking with me at this point, right? So I'm about to go around again. He slams on his brakes. And of course, I've got my kids with me because I just picked them up from school, and I'm trying to stay cool and not set a bad example for the kids. And finally, I went by him and got around him and gave him the finger. Of course, my 10-year-old daughter laughed. But that was it. It was nothing crazy. It didn't lead to any kind of violence or nothing dramatic.
Well, the next time this happens, and it'll probably be like in 3 or 4 more years, just because you're in a very relaxed environment. But the next time this happens, instead of giving the finger, you know what is a much more rewarding thing to do?
What's that?
Point to their tire, like point to their driver's side tire or any tire. Just point to their tire and mouth the words, "Your tire." and because the entire rest of their journey, they're going to be like, wait, is there something actually wrong with my tire? That's how you really impact someone who is giving you some road rage. Then they're going to pull over. They're going to look at their tire. And they're going to be like, oh, that son of a bitch.
I haven't even thought about road rage or had any instance of road rage till today. So hopefully I'm not going to have any more. It's an isolated incident.
How are you sure that this wasn't a fan of yours?
It wasn't a fan. It was just some random guy on the road in front of me. Happened to be just driving erratically and wanted to be a jerk.
John Lorden.
He's upset about your takes on the Zodiac. He shaking his fist at you.
John Lorden is probably the nicest driver in the world. He's the kind of guy that will say, "Oh, I know that you got a convoy full of slow-moving vehicles, but I'll slow down. You go right in front of me." That would be John Lorden if he was driving on the road. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine him having any road rage.
Yeah, polite, but not a pushover.
Right. So many catchphrases tonight. I feel like that should be copywritten too. A T-shirt with John Lorden's face, and it says "polite but not a pushover."
There you go.
Polite but not a pushover. Yeah, sounds Canadian.
Tim did. Tim did bring up a interesting point there. Maybe it was somebody who disagreed with your Zodiac theory.
It could be. You never know. There might be some Zodiac nuts out there. I saw someone posted on Twitter that on one of the podcasts, I think it was, and that's why we drink. They had someone on there that had quote unquote information from the FBI, and that the code that was solved, the cipher that was solved, was a cipher within a cipher. And there was another message there that this woman had, and she was about to break it. And it's all BS. There's nothing to that story.
No. Fun. But that cipher that did get cracked a couple months ago, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was a neat experience. I knew about it for a few days, and I was sworn to secrecy because I couldn't say anything about it. And
actually, it was my sources said you were really angry that you didn't crack it, and and that you were going to try to take credit, but some other person did it instead.
I gave up on trying to crack that thing like 20 years ago. It was like it's one of those things that you just do it over and over and over, and you just finally either find new ways to keep doing it, or you just say I've had enough and I'm not going to do it anymore. That was me.
We got some people here in the message area. MZ Gags asks you, "Are you still thinking Sullivan is a good suspect?"
I like Sullivan. He's still my favorite suspect, but I've sort of hit a roadblock as far as being able to find anything else about him at all. So to me at this point, I've almost gotten burned out on trying to look at suspects because it's just an endless pool of, flavor of the week. And you've got people that have a different suspect that are trying to shit on your suspect. And at this point, I just want to see the case solved and see who it was and see who's right and see it put behind us.
So let's see. Scroll up. Drew asked if is Ross still your top suspect?
Yeah, he's my top suspect.
Ross from Friends?
No, Ross from Riverside, California. Ross Sullivan.
Okay, not Ross from Friends.
Not Ross from Friends.
No.
Because he was my top
he was too nice and too friendly to be a Zodiac player.
Yeah. The Hiltons are in the chat room, and Alessio makes sure to point out it's 3:11 sodding a.m. here.
Oh,
that's when you do your sodding at 3:11.
I think that's another word for effing. Yeah. I don't think he's happy about the hour. Is I think what he's saying there? It's a sarcastic jab at us.
No. Sodding is he's a farmer. Sodding is when you go out and you sod your fields, and typically they do it at 9 p.m., midnight, and 3:11.
Okay, you sure? You sure about that?
It's a very British thing.
He just looked it up. Okay. It sounds like he's reading it right off Wikipedia.
Well, no. I have family over there.
What? Okay, and you knew exactly what it was, just like that.
Knew exactly. Yeah, you sawed the seeds.
Nice.
It's definitely a British thing.
Nice.
But which makes no sense because Alessio's in Italy.
He hangs out a lot. He hangs out with Esther a lot.
He does. Morph, what do you think of their comments? Are they a little too much sometimes, or is that just all hilarious, all fun and games?
I get a kick out of them. It's hard to keep track of them because sometimes they start going on a spree, and then I just can't even catch up to the original conversation, and they move on to something else. So by the time I'm trying to figure out how it started and reply or respond or whatever, they're already onto a different topic, and
you're already old news.
Yeah, I'm like I can't even keep up.
I want to point out a very funny comment. Esther Hilton said, "Is that Morph? I thought I'd actually clicked into Shawn Mendes's Get Vocal for a second." That's good.
Shawn Mendes.
Wow. Well, before you sing Stitches, Morph, can you tell us a little bit about Bigfoot and your excitement over Bigfoot? We talked to a really fun dude, James McMahon, yesterday, and Bigfoot came up a little bit. He wrote an article recently about it. I kept trying to steer the conversation back to Bigfoot, like comically so, but it just wasn't happening. What are your latest feelings on Bigfoot, Morph?
I know that in Florida, I've got a really bad chance of seeing Bigfoot, so I'm sort of a little bit depressed. That's one of the negatives about coming down here, but I think he's real. I know everybody thinks that it's a joke and it's somebody running around in a suit, but I think there's something out there.
When is your Bigfoot podcast?
If I had another hour in the day, I'd probably squeeze in a Bigfoot podcast.
Oh, don't even. This is an exclusive right now. We talked to Morph the other day, and about to get off our call, and he said, "What are you guys gonna go do?" And I think both Tim and I were like, "Well, we got to go shovel snow," and he was like, "I'm gonna go jump in the pool." So I don't know if you're podcasting from your pool, but apparently that's where your lost hours are.
It was, and in my defense, it was too cold that day. I wound up not going swimming.
Oh,
okay.
A little chilly.
Yeah,
it's a little bit chilly.
Well, what about the Super Bowl, Morph? How do you like your Tampa Bay versus Kansas City? It's coming up this Sunday, the big day, the big game. Any bets? I'll take bets.
I really like Pat Mahomes. I told you the other day I hate Tom Brady. I'm not a Tom Brady fan. Just I hate the arrogance, and they come from the cheating Patriot system. I know that's you guys right in your backyard. I know that's probably your team, but he's got an asterisk next to his name as far as it comes. There's no doubt he's the greatest of all time.
Does he have 6?
I don't know. He's got a lot, and he's the greatest of all time. I'm not debating that. I think he is what he is. He didn't get what he got from cheating, but he cheated some, so that still puts an asterisk next to his name. But I'm trying to root for them since I'm now in Florida. But I like Patrick Mahomes, so I wouldn't mind if he won.
Okay. What if Brady wins his 7th this Sunday? Is he still a cheater, or?
I don't think they're cheating. I don't think that team's cheating. So if he wins it fair and square, I got no beef.
Hard to know which ones were fair and square or not from New England, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you never know. They bent the rules and used every little trick in the book that they could get away with. But hey,
they get
an A for effort. You know, they're trying to win games. So
I think we got a new segment here called like Crawlspace Sports with Morph.
I do want to mention this book from our friend Jax Miller. Morph, I don't know if you read this one yet, but Hell in the Heartland by Jax Miller. Excellent book. It's just
fantastic.
Yeah, it really is. The writing is incredible. And we're having her on in this upcoming Crawlspace on Wednesday. And it's about the murders of the Freemans and the disappearances of Laura Freeman and Ashley Bible from Oklahoma. Pretty dark case, but it really doesn't hit you. I feel like how kind of gritty it is until late in the book. That's kind of
that's an awful case.
It's really, really tragic. And I had no idea how good of a writer Jax Miller was until I was like maybe 10 pages in, and then it hooks you and you realize that this is a really, really good writer putting herself in a situation that she didn't really expect to get into. And the first thing I thought of was Truman Capote. I mean, the first thing I thought of was In Cold Blood, and the journey that she went through. It's a parallel story to the actual case, and it's absolutely riveting. Can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, definitely go pick that one up. Not an ad. We love the book, and Jax is on the show next week.
Sweet.
What about movies, more? Have you seen any good movies lately? We still haven't been able to get Lance to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
What are you waiting for? You've got no excuse. You've got snow days and everything else.
I have no excuse. And every weekend there's like one movie that we put on, and every time I'm like, this is when I should be watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But honestly, the joke of not watching it is almost better than watching it for me. I know it's an amazing movie, but I am now riding that joke that you have to do something to convince me to watch it now.
I haven't watched that movie in a while. I every once in a while I'll pop it on because it's just a fun. Like the movie was made to be like a love letter to Hollywood, and I'm a big fan of old Hollywood, not so much new Hollywood, but classic. When I was a kid, I remember watching all those shows, reruns from the 60s and 70s, and I just love that time, and I love that era. To have a throwback to that and to really see all the sides of Hollywood that there was, it's just really cool. I think he did a really good job with it, and it's just like it really is a bromance. It's just a show about two friends that just love hanging out and getting into shenanigans. And I don't know if anybody hasn't seen it, they should see it. But I really haven't watched much lately. I've been working too much. No
working
movies.
On your backstroke.
No. That pool's got to warm up another couple degrees before I'm doing any backstrokes.
Okay. I know what Tim's about to get at. He saw a really good movie, and I can't wait to see that again.
Yeah, I'm going to get there, but I just want to say, Mimi said they filmed some scenes from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a few blocks away from her house.
Oh, wow.
I think it's somewhere in LA. One of my favorite parts about that movie was sort of like like a joke that you have to be in town, I guess, to get it, because there's a part where they're walking into the restaurant El Coyote on Beverly, and I think it's Margot Robbie's like, oh, what's going on down at the porn theater? There's a premiere down at the porn theater. They said something like that. But that's actually the theater that Quentin Tarantino owns in real life that they were pointing to, which I thought was pretty good. Little nod to it, little joke about himself.
Yeah. And it's got his kind of style, his kind of humor, his alternate endings, his alternate realities. But it's a movie. It's an escape. Part of it's based in reality, and then it goes off into into an alternate ending of what really happened. But again, it's a movie. It's not a documentary.
Yeah, Lance, honestly, if you want some reason to watch it now, watch it for the Margot Robbie character, because her character, Sharon Tate, actually, because she's so bright in the movie. Like, they dress her in bright yellow and everyone else is not. It's pretty cool how they do that, and then it kind of relates to the end of the movie. But you got she
was really good in it, and she sort of really didn't have a lot of time. Which I thought was unfortunate.
She's more like a symbol of the movie. Yeah,
and I would have liked to have seen more of her. And Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio were both excellent. I was hoping they would both get Oscar nods, and luckily Brad Pitt won. But it's just it's easily the best movie I've seen in the last couple of years.
All right, I think I'm convinced. Maybe this will be something that we fire up on the projector this weekend.
Put it on.
I've heard that before.
And you have. I said that before.
But it reminded me of that movie when I saw Promising Young Woman this week. That's a new movie. I forget the director's name, Emerald something or other. But Carey Mulligan is the lead, and what an incredible movie. Even the Hiltons should like this one, because Paris Hilton's song "Stars Are Blind," I believe it's called, gets played in the movie, in a pretty great part. This movie is incredible. Very much a masterpiece of a movie, I'll say.
That's incredible. It's Emerald Fennell. I think Fennell or Fernald or something. Emerald Fennell. First movie from this woman, right?
I think so. Yeah, she might have been an actress, I think, before my limited research.
But I believe she wrote and directed this one too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear of it. What's it about?
It's you got a
great premise.
Yeah, the premise is amazing, but it's basically about a woman who pretends she's drunk and she's alone at bars, and she's out there like stumbling around, and she gets picked up by a nice guy who takes her home, and he's trying to be nice, and then he tries to hook up with her, and she tells him she's not drunk, and then it's like, whoa, what the hell's going on? He has like a sobering moment, and she has a conversation, and it gets pretty crazy. It's great. It's great.
You gotta see the trailer.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of TV. I've been watching marathoning when I can. Yellowstone, excellent.
What's Yellowstone?
It's Kevin Costner's in it. It's
right.
on I forget what channel it's on, but it's great. And I just got into. I've been putting it off, and I finally got into it. Animal Kingdom.
What's the Animal Kingdom?
You guys watch that? It's got what is her name? The blonde actress. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. It's basically a family of criminals and their criminal enterprise that they run out of their house. It's got Scott Speedman in it. I can't remember the main woman's name though. It's escaping me. But it's really good. It's pretty good.
It's new.
Ellen Barkin. There it is.
Ellen Barkin.
Yeah.
Ellen Barkin. There's a name from the past.
Yeah. Check out an episode. It's really good.
Okay, where do I check that out?
It's on Peacock. I think somebody posted in the Or maybe that was it's on. It might not be Peacock. It's on. You'll have to look it up. I don't know.
You know what? It doesn't matter if you have like an Amazon Fire Stick or anything. You just search it and you'll find it. So
yeah, one way or another.
Okay, great. So we have Promising Young Woman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Animal Kingdom. Those are now on the list. I saw a great indie flick, and we can move on from movies after this, but it's always fun to talk about movies. Has anyone seen The Headhunter? Tim, did you end up watching The Headhunter?
I haven't seen it. No, I didn't watch it yet.
If anyone watches, this is a movie that was made a few years ago, real independent movie. Primarily one person in the movie, this man from, I'm going to say maybe the 1600s or 1700s. They don't give you a time frame. And you gradually understand that he's defending a castle from these monsters, whether they're trolls or demons or just a variety of monsters. And he collects their heads and he puts them on his wall. And one of them has killed his daughter. And he is out for revenge. And it's got its flaws, but it's so incredibly absorbing to watch just one person carry a plot line like that in this environment of very cold, like brutal, uncomfortable in this like environment that you would never be in. And they don't really show a lot other than this guy and how he's like managing his day-to-days, and it's so good. And the flaws even make it great. Like you'll ask yourself, well, why'd they do that? Why did but being a movie fan, you realize, well, maybe it was a production decision. It's one of those like endearing movies and its flaws as well.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, The Headhunter. Well, why don't we just do a movie review show?
If I don't have to do any research and I can just sit down after watching it and just freestyle like this, let me know where to do it and I'll be there.
There was a decent doc that I saw recently called The Phenomenon. I think it's called. It's about like aliens and disclosure and things like that. And it's on VOD. I rented it. I'm pretty sure it's called The Phenomenon. Let me just check.
I think I saw the preview for that on Amazon. I was thinking about renting it, but I decided not to.
It's pretty good, Morph. And I know a lot. I feel like I know a lot about the whole alien lore stuff. I've been following it for a lot of years. So if you don't feel like you know much about that, you might get a real lot from the movie. I think a lot of it for me was rehash stuff, but at the end, I was kind of blown away, I have to say. There was this classroom of kids. I think it was South Africa. Or somewhere in Africa where they were first graders and there was like 20 kids and they had footage from the 70s or 80s when like all these kids described it and drew it as a spaceship who landed and this thing that came out, and they described it and they were all being interviewed and they were dead serious, and you could just tell like these kids were not making this up. And the coolest thing about this documentary was they interviewed those same kids now, like 20 years later, not all of them, but like 5 of them or something like that. And that was the part that was really cool to me, because they all still stood by the story, just as strongly as they did back then. So I thought it was pretty cool.
What was it called?
The Phenomenon.
Phenomenon. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. While we're talking about documentaries, Mike, what is your go-to, or what is your favorite true crime documentary? Because I mean, there's so many, but what's one that you're like, that one did it for me? Besides the disappearance of Maura Marianne, obviously.
I'll tell you what the missing 411 one was really good. The sequel I really thought was interesting. That one, the Hunted.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Both of them are really good. The second one was just really because it's about missing hunters, and someone that grew up hunting. I sort of knew the woods, so that, and to know that these guys went out that knew the woods, knew their areas, knew how to survive out there if they needed to just completely vanish in the thin air is just crazy. So I sort of identified with that a little bit.
What do you make of his work? And that's David Paulides' work. He's done a lot of those movies, or he maybe even got a TV show. And I know a whole series of books, Missing 411 books.
Well, the funny thing is, I didn't get into all of his books and into his research, but if I'm not mistaken, he thinks there's some kind of Bigfoot involvement in some
Hey,
aspects.
Be careful, Mark.
Hey,
you said you believed in Bigfoot.
I do, but I don't believe Bigfoot like kidnaps people and stuff like that. But hey, again,
yeah.
The missing aspect was good. And there's another one, and the name's escaping it off the top of my head, was really good. Was about cold cases. And it was based on John. I might be getting confused. I think it was based on a John Grisham book about cold cases. Maybe somebody's going to remember, but it was on Netflix. I want to say a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. The name's escaping, but it was The Innocent Man. There you go. That was good. That was a good one. And then, I mean, there's older ones like the three kids from the name's escaping me. Sorry, you got me guys up later than I'm used to. I'm like here. But the West Memphis 3.
Yes.
That case, that documentary is just, right from the beginning, you've got that Metallica music fading in as you're going into this grisly, gut-wrenching scene. The opening scene, it's like, what the fuck am I looking at here? It's just horrible. So that's always stuck with me. And then you sort of get into the grit of what happened, and you start to see where mistakes were made and how focus was made on one group, because they dressed different. And when, around that time that happened, I wasn't goth, but I was, long hair, earrings, black leather. I mean, in my small town, if something like that happened and they were looking for weird kids to pin it on, I probably would have been one of the weird kids that they looked at. So
I don't want to bury the lead here, but let's go back to maybe a minute ago where you just said you weren't goth, but I just
I think they were a little bit more goth, or at least that Kid Damon was. We were more heavy metal, rock, leather jackets, long hair. I had.
I need a picture.
I'll have to dig one up. They're buried, and I think I burned them. But I had a girlfriend that was a pretty good artist, and she on the back of a jean jacket, she made a picture from a Black Sabbath album. And she put it on my TJ. Look at Tim laughing, and it said we sold our souls for rock and roll. So it looks satanic. So an adult thinking that saw that would be like, "Hey, that's a Satan worshiping kid." I had nothing to do with that. I just liked Black Sabbath back then. But that's the kind of stuff that would get you negative attention.
That was awesome.
Wow.
Those three things there that made me very amused.
What put you over the top? The jacket?
No, I think it was the Black Sabbath detail of the jean jacket was what put me over the top. I think there was like three things in the story that kind of like dated this story as being like the 80s or something. And it just kind of cracked me up.
I could do an entire podcast probably on my 80s life. I had some pretty wild times.
I think, you do so many podcasts, which we should talk about a little bit, but I think that should be your next podcast called Morph's 80s Life. And I mean, the logo alone sells it.
We could just put it right on the back of a jean jacket.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. And I bet you even remember when you first heard Black Sabbath, like your first Black Sabbath experience.
I mean, I remember sitting in friends' rooms, partying, getting high, and someone decides they're going to play the record backwards, and everybody's agreeing. Oh, I hear the demonic voice. I hear it. Play it again, right? there's no demonic voices, but someone else says they hear it and you're going along with the crowd and that kind of stuff. I mean, we do it to Motley Crue albums. Then somebody broke out their parents' Beatles album and said, hey, it's on the Beatles album too. You won't believe it. They say Paul is dead on this album. And just, just crazy stuff like that.
So you broke out the Motley Crue albums. So are you a Crue fan?
I am a Crue fan.
What's your favorite Crue album?
I like Girls is my favorite, but I like some of their older stuff, Theater of Pain. And some of their I had some of their early demos that were pretty good. But I'm a big fan of the LA Strip, Sunset Strip stuff in general.
Oh,
so there's a lot of other bands that come out of there that I'm a big fan of.
Did you read The Dirt?
I didn't, but I saw the movie. And the movie's just it's insane. The movie is just over. I don't know if it was really that crazy, but they certainly make it look like it was.
Well, what they show in the movie is like sort of even a toned down version of what they wrote in the book. And if you like read what they did, the book is even sort of a toned down version of what the reality was.
If that's toned down, then I just can't imagine what it would be like to hang with those guys, because that looked like it was insane.
Yeah. I mean, top 5 greatest 80s rock bands, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely. Yeah. For me growing up, it was obviously Motley Crue and Metallica, Rat, Guns N' Roses, stuff like that. And that's when metal and rock were really, really ruling everything.
Yeah. So I was more of a Billy Ocean and Steve Winwood kind of guy.
So I believe that. You seem like you're too easy and mellow to be. How old were you in the 80s? You probably weren't even alive. How old are you?
I was born in 1980.
30?
I'm 40. Shit. Thank you though. Thank you. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Braun says Kiss. I have a huge problem with Kiss. I can't do Kiss. I know that they were 70s, 80s, but I mean, Kiss they had a gimmick. Give them the gimmick. But other than that, the music.
I like a couple songs. I like the gimmick. The paint was cool. The painted faces and stuff. The outfits were cool. I had a friend who was a diehard Kiss fan, and he had a giant wall, and he had cassette bootlegs of like every live concert they ever did. He spent massive amounts of money to get this collection, and it was a bootleg of every demo and live concert they ever did. He was a huge Kiss fan. That's
great. So what do you have going on? What's coming up for Michael Florida Man Morford?
I'd like to figure out a time to get some rest and downtime, but I keep on doing more projects and thinking about stuff and coming up with ideas. And I right before we jumped on, I actually thought of I'm always thinking of podcast ideas, but there's no way I can do anymore. So I'm always hoping I can find some poor schmuck to say, hey, you want to team up and do a podcast, and you actually do it, because I have no more time. But I thought of one called They Always Die in Threes. And then I thought you could have random 3 people bio of 3 people that just died from all different backgrounds and walks of life, and just tell their little short biographies. And I thought that would be pretty cool.
It's a pretty good idea.
It's a great idea. I picture you on your float in your pool, looking up at the sun, your daiquiri, and maybe an iPad or a book and
lemonade.
Your hard lemonade, your spiked lemonade, and you're floating around, and you look up and you're like, and you see 3 clouds that look similar, and that's what triggers this idea. That's how I picture this happening.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe that will happen. Maybe it'll happen that way.
So is this like a real thing? Are you going to?
I literally will write down an idea, and I'll just leave it in the think tank, and maybe later on it comes back, and I talk to someone, and all of a sudden somebody's like, hey, that's interesting. And then I was actually thinking, a cool title would be Curtain Call. I thought, because what perfect way the end of a show is a curtain call. I looked, there's like 5 podcasts called Curtain Call. So I was like, that wouldn't work. So then I just decided, how about they always die in threes?
It's pretty good.
Don't steal it now. Look, he's writing it down. He's trying to.
We already got it
right now. You guys are launching a show already about it.
Well, you didn't read the fine print before you came on this particular Get Vocal. Any idea that is presented on this Get Vocal is now the property of Crawlspace Media, LLC, and its aforementioned affiliates, which were not aforementioned.
Hey, if you guys want to steal one, I'll let you guys steal one idea. Or 2, but don't get too crazy.
Well, should we open up this 4th box?
Let's open up the 4th box.
Yeah.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
Who's in the box?
Okay, Morph, what is your favorite movie based on an actual true crime? And you can't say Zodiac.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
No. It's technically based on Ed Gein, but it's not really true to the story. But
yeah, it's like a mishmash. It's like a stew of a bunch of different ones, and Ed Gein is one of the ones that was inspiring.
I'll tell you what is missing that I'd love to see and has never been done, and I can't believe it hasn't been done, is Son of Sam.
Well, they had Summer of Sam.
It's not. Summer of Sam was just sort of with the Son of Sam as the background, going in the background. I'm talking an honest to God Son of Sam movie. I think that would be awesome if it was done by a great director, someone like Fincher or someone like that.
Who would play Berkowitz?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that. Hey, the guy on Mindhunter was pretty decent as Berkowitz, I think.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys see season 2 of Mindhunter?
Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah, I didn't think he was too bad.
Yeah. You should play Berkowitz.
I think I'm too old. I have no hair. He's got curly hair. I guess I could wear a wig.
Yeah, just give you a wig. I think it could work. You know the story, right?
Well, we could always just go out there with a couple cameras and start filming. low budget special.
I think people would be concerned that it was a snuff film.
Tim, same question to you. What's your favorite movie based on a crime or
Zodiac?
Can't say Zodiac.
Zodiac's off the hook. I've got another one too. I didn't really answer, so I'm going to wait till the end. I'm going to say another one that I like.
Jaws, of course.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I have to think about this one a little bit. I don't know.
All right. Well, you think, and Morph can. What was your other one?
Amityville Horror.
No, everyone stay quiet while I think about it.
Oh, that's a really interesting conversation to have. The Amityville Horror, which might have been just a hoax.
Yeah, well, the murders definitely happened. So,
the DeFeo murders, right?
Yeah, so that's connected. Yeah, the DeFeos. That's it's just one of the creepy movies from when I was a kid. Interestingly enough, they filmed it in the next town over from where I lived in New Jersey, because they couldn't get access to the house on Long Island. So they actually found a house that looked identical in the town over from where I lived. They actually turned it towards the water, so it would look more like the actual house did, and that's where they actually filmed it.
They turned the house?
Took it off the foundation and turned it because the real house backed up to the water. This house doesn't. It sits sideways on the water. They actually turned it facing the water and then put it back on the foundation.
That's an incredible endeavor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Who knew? Who in the chart? Chris from Crime Time Justice said Monster with Charlize Theron. That's a phenomenal movie.
That was a good performance.
Yeah, great performance. Yeah. Really good movie. I can't imagine myself ever watching it again, though.
Nope. One of those rare movies that is absolutely brilliant. The performance is brilliant. I've said many times that that's one of my favorite performances ever of any actor ever, and I'll never watch it again. It's that hard to watch.
Yeah.
But
There's some movies just do it once and you're set.
Yeah. Dog Day Afternoon. That's a good one from Dr. Shiloh.
That is a really good one. One from the past few years I was thinking about is Spotlight. I really like that movie. Very good.
Is that the Boston Globe?
Yes. Steve Kirchen. Exposing the Catholic Church. Terrifying too. I mean, it's not like the kind of crime that you're probably used to hearing about, I guess, but it's terrifying and disgusting. It's just a really good movie too. Great performances.
Yeah, Michael Keaton, right?
Yeah, he's in that. Yep. Rachel McAdams, Mark Ruffalo.
I feel like it had a very unfortunate title. I feel like Spotlight wasn't like it didn't draw me into what the actual story was. You know what I mean?
Was Mark Ruffalo a reporter in that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I did see it. Okay. Yeah, that was good.
Frost Nixon, that's a good movie. Not really crime, but reminded me of it. This conversation kind of reminds me of it, the way that how tense it is.
Oh my God, you can cut the tension with a chainsaw here. Chainsaw Massacre here.
How come there's nobody jumping into the fourth box here? Put someone in the fourth box. Make them go in there.
Yeah, someone hop in. I did want to mention The Little Things. I saw a couple people in the chat room talking about that. That came out this weekend. I think it was with Denzel, and I kind of couldn't stop talking about it or texting about it. Lance, I know I was texting you about it. I think I saw it. I technically saw it like twice. I'm not really sure that I kind of feel like I missed something in that movie, or else I'm just a little confused by the whole thing. I'd love to hear anyone else's thoughts on that movie.
Which movie was it?
The Little Things on HBO Max with Denzel.
The trailer is great. The trailer is great. The cast is incredible. Denzel Washington, Jared Leto, Remy Malek. The cast is incredible. They try to do this throwback to the 90s, Seven-esque style movie. I haven't seen it. I was going to watch it, but our mutual friend Jeff sent a text message saying with just like a thumbs down. And then Tim was like, I don't even know what this movie was. Like he tried to watch it a couple times. It felt like it was like he had a fugue state or something in between like Act 1 and Act 3.
I watched it twice because I definitely fell asleep during watching it the first time. Not a shot at the movie. I fall asleep a lot when I'm watching movies late at night, and sometimes I'll rewind. And I watched it and I saw the ending and I was like, wait a second, I must have missed something. And I basically had the exact same experience the next night and watched it again. Might have missed a little bit, but I enjoyed a lot, like stretches of it. But the end is kind of a head scratcher. And I felt like it was really trying to be Seven. And if it was trying to be Seven, that definitely didn't work, that aspect. But, it achieved us talking about it. It achieved me. Like, I'm still thinking about it. I'm probably going to watch it again just to see. So, Lance, I do think you should watch it just to check it out.
Yeah, I will watch it. I mean, I'm a Denzel fan, and I love any story that has a kind of rundown police officer who is, dogged, someone who's like just
ready to retire.
Yeah. Like I love season 1 of True Detective, just that, like the personalities that go into that. Any British detective, give me that. But Denzel playing a detective in the twilight of their career. I saw the trailer and I was like, this is it. This is going to be a great movie. So I will watch it. But now I have a completely different outlook going into it.
He plays a detective who is so obsessed with one case that he takes vacation time in order to investigate this case outside of his jurisdiction.
Unheard of.
Yeah, it's unheard of. Kind of reminds me of Mike Morford and all the podcasts that he does.
I'm going to take a vacation to go do more podcasts.
He took a permanent vacation in Florida.
There's room down here. Come on down.
Well, and the housing
I'm trying to talk into moving down here.
It might happen. Who knows?
You don't want to
down there, Phil. We actually, Lance and I both lived down there for very, very short periods of time, and I think in our lives.
Not together.
Not together. No, I was there for about 6 months. I actually worked on a pirate ship for about 6 months down there in Clearwater.
Of course you did.
Pirate.
Of course you did. That doesn't surprise me.
Yes, I was a pirate. Yes. Terrible Tim, they called me.
So, what is coming up on what's your latest podcast?
My latest podcast.
Like what can we expect from you? Hold on. Michelle just stole the show with the new show that will probably be on Netflix soon. Tim, myself, Morph, John Lorden will retire to Florida and become the new Golden Girls. This is a TV show.
Okay.
How about a bunch of old retired detectives that solve cases?
Except
they're hobbling around because they're old and they're got their Geritol and their walkers and stuff.
Actually, Morph, how about 4 incredibly ripped podcasters fighting crime?
Yeah. Just beating up these criminals.
Bringing them in for interviews and just laying it on.
Yeah. Good cop, bad cop, a little bit of that going on.
Bad cop, bad cop.
Bad cop and bad cop.
Yeah.
Bad cop, worst cop.
You could throw a line in like, oh, let me guess, you're the bad cop and he's the good cop. No, we're both bad cops. Now what?
Now what? Yep.
Now
Exactly.
what?
And I'll go from smiling like this. No, motherfucker, I'm the bad cop.
Yeah.
See that intensity that I can bring like that?
I'm unnerved. It's unnerving. Have you guys ever seen Maniac Cop?
Not in years.
Oh,
Not in a long time.
we should totally make a remake.
We got to get one day. We've got to talk about The Shining. We've got to
we have like 10 minutes left here.
In-depth Shining conversation.
I feel like we've talked a lot about it.
Yeah, let's talk about The Shining.
Between us, we always like talk between us, and I just it's every time you watch that movie, there's something new. It's like the movie that keeps on giving. You know.
Is it your favorite Kubrick movie?
It's become my favorite movie. I think overall, at least horror wise. Just because, Jack Nicholson is his best role to me, hands down. And he's good in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But he's just he plays the perfect maniac in The Shining. I don't know. I think so anyway. Some other people might like him in other movies.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. I do love him in pretty much every movie he's done.
Yeah.
No, I think he's my favorite actor of all time. He's the best, Jack.
Yeah.
More than Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah, I think I just enjoy watching Jack more. Daniel Day-Lewis, amazing actor, probably better actor in my opinion, maybe than Jack. But Jack's more enjoyable to watch, if that makes sense.
No, that does make sense, because are you going to watch The Shining or My Left Foot?
I'll tell you what, I've never seen My Left Foot.
Right.
Yeah.
Case in point. I mean, I'm sure the performance in My Left Foot was better than Jack in The Shining, but I'm going to watch The Shining.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, how do you? He plays like the scene where he's berating Wendy, and he's like, "And you're ruining my fucking concentration," and it takes me forever. I mean, he plays he's just the perfect dick in that movie. Someone that you know is just going to flip and go off.
It's funny you mentioned that.
It just builds.
That scene's incredible because the tension's there. The second you stop hearing him typing, so she walks in and I think she's like, "Hey, hon," and it's like
he's like,
and from
he's
that
giving her
moment,
one of those smiles like, "Fuck you, get out of here."
Yeah. It's an amazing scene. It's an amazing performance. Did you see the documentary Room 237?
Yeah, I did.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to ignore all the different. And we talked about this before. Is it about the moon landing? Is it about the genocide of American Indians? Is it so many different, every time you watch it, there's clues that pop out that say that's not there by accident. Not that many things could be there by accident. There's a Tang bottle, the kid's wearing an Apollo 13 sweater. I mean, just all kinds of little things that you go through, and you know the one scene. I think I sent a picture, and you guys didn't even notice if I remember correctly, but the one scene where Jack's there for the interview, and they walk up to him, and he's sitting there. He's waiting for them to come pick him up. He's reading a Playgirl magazine in the hotel, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm ready." Okay, he throws it down. It's Playgirl.
Is great writing in those magazines.
Good articles, yeah.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's not even Playboy. It's Playgirl. Number one, are they going to have any pornographic magazines there in the hotel? And it happens to be Playgirl, not Playboy. So that's saying something right there. And then you've got the Impossible Room.
Can we unpack that a little bit? I mean, what is that then? Because you make a good point that Playboy or a Playgirl shouldn't be available in a waiting room like that, and probably wouldn't be. So we're saying that Kubrick put it there intentionally as the prop that Jack Torrance was reading, but why?
Yeah. And is that saying that he's secretly gay? I mean, there's some people think that he did something inappropriate with Danny. I don't know, but it's there, and it's just weird.
And I'm sure there is like that could be there. It's interesting you mentioned that. That could be there just as like a Kubrick joke, just to make people question it. There's another scene where, and we can get back to the Playgirl, but it reminded me of this other scene where it might have actually been the scene you're talking about where she comes in and while he's writing and he gets annoyed with her. There's a chair in the background, and it cuts to Wendy, and it cuts back to him, and the chair's gone. Mm-hmm. And it cuts to Wendy, and it cuts back, and it's there. And is that Kubrick like messing with your perception, or is it a continuity error?
Yeah, and just an editing blip.
No, that's totally intentional. That's him trying to discombobulate the viewer, in my opinion.
Right. Well, and the Impossible Room. When you watch that movie the first time, if you don't know the stuff's coming, none of it you really don't catch any of it. But that Impossible Room, when they go back and walk you through the layout of the hotel and how they get to that room and what it looks like when they get in there, it's the Impossible Room for a reason, because it's not possible. So you wonder what is going on here. Is this just, again, Stanley Kubrick? Did Stanley Kubrick just slip up and not realize that that's there? Or is it more likely that this hotel is just that bizarre that it's there?
I think it's more towards what Tim was saying, where everything about it needs to be uncomfortable. Everything about it needs to make you think this is off somehow. And Tiff actually said Stephen King didn't like it. Maybe all those Kubrick Easter eggs. Stephen King did not like it, and he actually tried to get his name removed from it when it was first released. But then later on, he came around and he understood, because The Shining, I believe, was his second novel. And he achieved fame really fast, and he thought, okay, well, everything is going to be exactly how I have it. And then he saw the adaptation, and it wasn't. So he got irritated that it wasn't exactly his story. So, but he did backtrack in the later years, and he does come to tell you, like, he recognizes this to be a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard not to now. But didn't King, wasn't he kind of personally offended? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Lance, you told me this, that or maybe it was in the movie, but that Room 237, but that in the book or something, like he crashed a car in the movie in the opening credits, which sort of symbolized that, look, I'm not going to be accurate to your book. Obviously Kubrick was a genius of his own right. Like he's not going to let King direct his movie. He's gonna put his own take on it, and it was a completely different point. I think King wrote a ghost story, and Kubrick kind of told something much kind of deeper.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. In the movie when Dick Halloran is driving to the Overlook, he passes by a tanker truck that's crushed a yellow Volkswagen Bug, and that's the car that Jack Torrance drove in the book. So that was Kubrick saying, "This is a story like I'm kind of crushing your story a bit," but Stephen King wrote The Shining as a family story, and it was really geared towards alcoholism.
Yeah, that's what he was aiming for, was the alcoholism, the whatever's going on in the hotel, the haunted. That was just a backdrop. That was just it happened to be a haunted hotel, but this guy's alcoholism is what ultimately was the downfall. Whereas in the movie, he goes insane as a result. You get the sense that he was always insane. That we know he was violent in the past, but you get the sense that he's capable of going off the edge, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
And Stephen King tried to tell his story with the TV version of The Shining with Steven Weber, and it was awful.
Yeah, and that was like what wasn't a made-for-TV movie too? So
yes, it was. Yeah, it was a made-for-TV movie. It was terrible.
Yes. Wait, are you saying that the Steven Weber from Wings?
Mm-hmm. Yes, from Wings.
You're saying the guy from Wings wasn't as good as Jack Nicholson?
I mean,
no.
Compare them, apples and oranges.
Yeah, and the TV movie was definitely more true to the book, because the plants, the things in the garden come alive, the animals out there, as opposed to a maze. He's killing them with croquet mallets instead of an axe. So it's definitely true to the book.
It works in the book. Like the animal hedges in the book and the croquet mallet work. But in the movie, come on, the maze? Yeah. I mean, like you're just like laying the symbolism on, and the fact that he dies frozen in the middle of the maze, which might not even have existed in the first place. Who knows,
Spoiler. Come on.
Whoops. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Somewhere there's someone in this the vocal session that was just about to put the movie on. They're like, "Oh, now
ruined."
Well, thank you, Lance.
Hold on.
Still check it out. Still check it out. Still good.
I think Rachel from Uncovered has a comment here that has never. I don't think anyone's ever said this comment ever in the history of. Rachel says, "I once had a dream I was dating Steven Weber." I think you might be the only I don't know.
Steven Weber's wife can't even say that.
Wow.
And I do want to make
don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Be proud.
No, don't be ashamed. He's
shame here.
He's actually a very good actor, I think.
He is a really good actor.
Yeah. Sean said that his favorite Nicholson movie is As Good as It Gets, and I just want to give a shout out to Sean for some funny comments, and that was a great movie as well. I love that movie, As Good as It Gets.
Is that your favorite Jack movie?
It's definitely like probably second or third. It's top 3. It could. I mean, I'd really have to like flesh out the conversation, but it's between Shining, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and As Good as It Gets. Yeah,
those are probably the big 3.
The Joker is 4, probably like a really like kind of obviously to me outside of that, almost like obviously stuck in that 4 seed. I don't know. You could probably.
Man, though, what about that? You got to consider that one.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. For You Good Men, great movie, amazing performance. It's a supporting role though. He's only in it for
yeah.
I mean, I think that's your 5 right there. I think that's your top 5. Feel free to
The Departed
order. What is it?
The Departed was good. The Departed.
I mean, that's 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think A Few Good Men. Like, think of that. Like, you have a role where it probably, I don't know. He had 7 minutes of screen time. I'm just making that up, but it was a small amount of screen time. But he delivers probably one of the most iconic lines in movie history.
So many good ones. Yeah.
The Departed was where I really got an appreciation for Mark Wahlberg and Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like sort of before that movie. I was like, I could take him or leave him, but now I really like both of them as actors.
Yeah, well, Wahlberg was funny in that role, and DiCaprio was great in that role. I kind of felt, and this is coming as I said, I love Nicholson. He's my favorite actor of all time. Felt like he was a little past his prime in the Departed role. And I
can see that.
Yeah, he was fine and he was good. He's Jack.
Yeah, but he was just good. It wasn't one of his best. Whereas DiCaprio and Wahlberg were both really good, and Matt Damon was pretty good in it too. Of course, excellent. Matt Damon's best movies are definitely the Bourne movies. I love the Bourne Identity series. I could just watch those on repeat over and over again. I love those movies.
Dr. Shiloh says Alec Baldwin is genius in that film. Alec Baldwin doesn't get enough credit for that for his role in that film.
Very funny.
I haven't seen any of the Bourne movies.
What? None of them?
I'm going to send you a bunch of DVDs. And a DVD player, and you've got no reason not to watch some of these movies.
I mean, there's so many of them, of those movies, and so many people have seen at least one of those movies. Those movies are really popular.
I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. I like spy movies, but
the first one's really good. I have to say. I mean, they're all pretty good. They are good stories, and they're directed well. And Damon's like actually great in those movies, even though he kind of doesn't speak that much. Like he's a great actor.
It's just the first one was my favorite. The second one was a little bit off. The third one I really liked, and I think it was the fourth or the fifth one that I was like, that's not. Then they used Jeremy Renner for one of the movies. It just
James Renner was in the spy movie.
Are they related? Maybe they're related. Jeremy Renner. Ask him. Could be his brother or something.
That's a pseudonym.
The Bourne Ultimatum starring James Renner.
Pretty intense action sequences there.
He pulled it off though.
Somehow pulled it off. Who's your favorite Bond?
Oof. Craig for me. I mean, yeah, it's Craig.
I grew up again in the 80s, so Roger Moore for me was the guy that I liked. But I mean, looking back now, Sean Connery was really good. I'm not really into the James Bond thing overall, but I watched him when I was growing up as a teenager, and I like Roger Moore.
Wow, a rare Roger Moore. I am Roger Moore's number 2 for me. I think Daniel Craig is my first one, but Roger Moore, yeah, he really did encompass it. You know how to kill any movie conversation? Ask who their favorite Bond is. It really does kill a movie conversation. Because
everybody's like,
yeah. I don't think anyone really cares.
Everyone says George Lazenby.
George Lazenby.
and who's they're supposed to have a new Bond, right?
Yeah.
Who's it going to be again? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's from The Wire.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, he was. Last I heard, I think he was supposed to play, but then COVID hit, and I don't know if that's still.
No, he's not doing it. It's Daniel Craig is doing it again.
Still doing it. Okay.
There's at least one more Bond movie that's actually was supposed to be out already, but it got held up due to COVID. It's supposed to be really good, from what I heard. Really excited to see it.
Yeah. So the Wire was good.
Oh my God! Watch Bell.
Yeah. Oh, the great cast.
Oh my God.
You know, I want to say one other thing about that Room 237. That is one documentary that gave me goosebumps, and I feel like that's kind of random and rare for I don't know. Like I was just like got so creeped out during that movie. It's a documentary about a movie, and I got so like spooked out. I just had goosebumps for like half of that movie. Go see that.
It makes you want to go back and watch the movie, like literally frame by frame, and pause it and just make notes, because there's so many things that are like little Easter eggs and things that are there, and then they turn their backs and turn around and it's not there. You mentioned the chair. There's a scene with Danny's doctor in his room. When they walk out, there's something on his wall that's gone. That was just there a second before.
Yeah, like the
decal. Yeah. So just all kinds of odd stuff.
Well, you know what? Heidi says the director's cut, but oh wait, she might not be talking about Room 237. From the vault of Crawlspace exists an interview with the director of Room 237 that I did with Rodney. Yeah, Rodney Asher is the director of Room 237. He also directed the excellent documentary called The Nightmare about sleep paralysis, which is by far the most terrifying documentary you'll ever watch. And I was so excited about this, and I was talking to him on the phone and Zencaster, and he decided to do the interview while he was taking a walk around his very noisy town. So there's a whole lot of background noise, and it's very tough to release that to the public if you're not doing it as sort of like just a bonus. Because
the
like
quality, the sound quality.
Yeah, I mean, there's wind, there's cars, there's a church bell tolling, there's dogs barking. He's like breathing heavy while he's walking.
He's doing a workout. He's on the treadmill.
Can I ask, did the church bells toll in an English accent?
The church bells tolled in an English accent every single time.
All right, figured.
Yeah. Cool guy. He actually sounded kind of confused why I wanted to talk to him in the first place. He was like, "Oh, that's really cool. You like the movies?" I was like, "No, I don't talk about them all the time."
Yeah. Well, at least he was cool enough to come on, even if the content sound quality wasn't that good.
Yeah. Maybe we can get him back on. Maybe we can get him on a Get Vocal.
There you go. I definitely watch that.
He'll be walking around his town.
On a Get Vocal. It's like I just walk. That's all I do.
Well, this has been great. A great casual chat a real fun chat with a pal. Mike Morford, the true crime guy, host of many podcasts: Criminology, Murder in My Family, Scene of the Crime, Missing Persons. Am I missing any?
Oh, I've got my hand in
mystery.
A lot of 3 Men in Mystery, DNA ID. I mean, I've
True Crime Junkie, my favorite murder.
Yeah, I'm involved in all of them in some fashion.
Good. Well, thank you, Mike Morford.
The Joe Rogan Show.
Joe Rogan is my partner. You didn't know that?
I did not. Shit.
It's always fun talking to you guys. I appreciate having me on.
Yeah. This was a lot of fun, and thank you to everyone in the chat room for joining and participating and toggling your butts over here to have a conversation. Not really about true crime tonight. We were just kind of talking about anything else, really.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good time. I don't know who's coming up next week, but the week after that, we're going to be talking a little QAnon with an actual QAnon member, a former QAnon member. So that's on the 18th, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. We have him coming up in a 2-parter on Crawlspace as well, coming up in a couple weeks.
Might as well give his name.
Jadeja.
That should be interesting to see.
He was on CNN recently on their special report that they did. He's great. And he is he was in the QAnon world believing it, and now he is out, and he feels like he needs to be on this mission to educate people about it.
What's scary is I think there's more than there's probably people we all know that are in it, which is a little bit bizarre
to some degree. I think, I mean, there's so many aspects to it. I think there are probably a lot of people who believe in an aspect here or there.
And kudos to you guys, by the way, on that episode you did that I texted you about. That was a really good episode.
The Jesse Morton one?
Yeah.
That guy's incredible.
Very interesting story and very timely.
Very timely. How often do you get somebody like that to talk about those things, and then what he does in his life to make things right, because he knows what he did really had an effect on society for decades after. One of the most interesting parts of that, and then I can let everybody we can let everybody go. But one of the most interesting parts of that was when he said, George W. Bush made that proclamation, either you're with the terrorists or you're with us. And I don't even know if George W. Bush understood that resonated more with people who are disillusioned for whatever reason. And more people sided with the terrorists than probably was intended, or actually was intended, right? I mean, that was intended to be a rallying cry. And it turned out that this was what gave Jesse Morton the motivation to make that decision. Like, okay, well, I don't believe in the government, so I guess I'm with the terrorists. Yeah. And look what incredible that one line just changed the course of so much.
Yeah, it was a very good episode. I definitely think you guys did a great job with that.
Well, I felt like my IQ went up a point.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of really hit our stride with that one. Just kidding. No, it was good. I agree.
200 episodes, you guys hit the stride.
No, it was great. I wasn't aware that because I'm pretty sure I had heard the story that there was someone who was in prison for making threats against Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and I wasn't aware that it was him. And I was kind of aware of his work with Escape, on Escape of Hate and Light Upon Light, and some of the other parallel networks, some of the other things he does. So I actually didn't know that until he said it on the air. It was it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I listened with an open mind, and I was like, let's see where this conversation goes. And he really had some really honest moments, and everything he said made sense, and it was based in fact, and really a good episode.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Once every few years, we have one.
Well, thank you very much for listening. And shout out to Taylor in the chat room.
Taylor
Johnson. We've recently covered her grandfather's story. Taylor Archer Ray Johnson went missing from Brooklyn, Washington, 1984, I believe.
Damn, right off the top of your head.
Wow. Yeah, and we just released our fourth episode on that case, and we spoke with Taylor and her mom Nikki recently, just a couple weeks ago. So make sure to check out that series.
I'll have to catch up on that one.
Yeah, mysterious case. Taylor is really pushing to get a search done, which is something really pretty awesome. Really actually inspiring. I mean, I think it's cool to say that it inspires us. Like, I think hearing that Taylor on her birthday wanted to go to that property and talk to the owner and ask them if they would allow a search, and she did. She went with her mom on her birthday.
That was what she wanted for her birthday.
I just love it. It's inspiring, to be honest, and I hope that search happens, and I hope it there's some answers there, and I hope we can help somehow along the way.
Hopefully you make some progress.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you, everybody, for chatting with us, hanging out with us here tonight. We'll be back next week. Make sure to check out the shows. Check out Phoenix Colden on our on Missing. There's a great 2-part episode with Goldia Colden, Phoenix's mom.
Very good. All right.
And make sure to check out Morph's shows as well. I'm losing my voice.
Be there.
And it's kind of hard to not check out Morph shows. They're just there.
Oh, I've got like 10. You guys have like 50.
All right. Thanks, everyone.